Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and this amazing video. I am Aditya. Sorry for the long gap between the previous video and this video. I was busy with some other projects of mine, so I was not able to focus much on this. So many apologies for keeping a gap of a week or more for the videos. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to see a very interesting concept as usual. So in this video, we will see how to create template themes. So how we are going to do is we are going to create two themes in which both themes will have like a different look, like very simple themes. And what we are going to do is we will assume that the user has selected a theme and their web app or their SaaS application or whatever it is they are using the theme for, it just uses that theme that they have selected. uh, Pretty much like combination of those website builders and other things, but what we are going to do is we will keep it like a template, so there won't be any drag and drops or all those involved. So what we will do is just like user select the theme and they get a fresh look of their maybe dashboard or something like that based on the theme they have selected. So let's see how to do that. So here I already have, so here it is, I already have a Laravel project freshly installed, so that's great. Now what I'm going to do is let's clean up the code. So I'll just remove all the default code that we have. So let's remove this from here. Let's remove all of this from here. Let's remove this as well. And what we need, so let's do here custom theme, template themes, just the title I'm giving here. And what I'm gonna do next is just gonna have so I'm gonna say h1 theme temp. Okay, so this is our title. Let's see what we have so far. So if I refresh the page, there it is. So that's great. Now let's start building our theme. So let's do this. Let's create a simple HTML layout. Like we will have a title, what we have currently right now, and then we will create two cards, and then in both those themes, let's try to change the color of those cards. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, again, there is no like a hard and fast rule to follow this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep it like a organized way. So I will have titles and the cards, like they will have the same class. Of course you can have different class, you can work around with it, it doesn't matter. What matters is we just need a consistency in some way or the other, like that's the key. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give it a class of, let's say, primary title. So that's my first CSS class, and then I'm going to create two div dot card. So this will be one card and then there will be another card. Now what I'm going to do is I'll wrap this in a div and I'm going to say card folder or card container. Perfect. And then let's put these two inside this. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is for each card I'm going to just give it like a title. So I'm going to say h3 dot secondary title, and let's say this is card 1, and let's do here h3 dot secondary title. This is card 2, and we can have like image and all those stuffs going inside the cards, but let's keep it simple, and let's see how we can make it a template theme. If I go back here, just refresh the page, I won't see anything. I will just see there are divs. So if I just inspect it, I will see there's a h1 tag and then some divs and some h2 tags, nothing different. So let's now write a base CSS for it, or let's try to just write some CSS for this. So what I'm going to do is inside resources CSS. Now I can write CSS here and have Laravel mix run and then compile the CSS, all those stuffs. But because everything when you compile it, it's gonna be dumped in this public folder. So let's go straight away here and let's create a new folder. So I'm gonna say CSS, and then here I'm gonna say new file. Let's say this is theme1.css. Now how it works is, generally for themes, like each theme has its own CSS. Let's assume that we have separate themes having separate layouts and displays. So let's start with our themes. So we will have the primary title in theme 1. Now in theme 1, the primary title is gonna be let's say color blue. I'm just using some random CSS here, so please don't mind the UI and something. My main purpose is to just demonstrate the change of themes and how we can switch it. So color is blue, and then font size is, let's say, 20 pixel. Okay, then we can have the secondary title, and for secondary title, let's say I'm using color as maybe let's use blue, but just a different shade. So what I'm going to do is VS Code has this handy thing, so you write a color and then you can just adjust it. So let's do it somewhere like this. Yeah. And then what I'm going to do for the font size is I'm going to keep it, let's say, 16 pixels. Okay. And what I'm going to do is the content para or the para title, like if we have a paragraph, so I'm just going to give that paragraph something. So here I will say font size of that paragraph will be around, let's say, 14 pixels, and color is, let's say, let's give it, I'm not getting any color in my mind, so let's go with CCC, like or 888. Let's proceed forward one more 8. Okay, so then we have cards, if you see. So let's first do with the card container, or let's go with the cards first, and then we will see how to deal with it. So for the cards, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like height of 400 pixel, width of 400 pixel, and let's have some border radius. Let's have some border first of 1px, solid transparent border, or not transparent, it beats the purpose of the border. Let's do hashtag CCC, and let's do border radius of 50 pixel, not 50 pixel, like 10 pixel. Then let's have some padding along the line, so let's give it a 16 pixel padding, and okay, that should be okay. And now let's go and do something with the card container. So the card container, what we will do is we will just copy this class, go over here, card container, and then what I could do is, so for in one theme I'm going to keep it like a flex in a row, and in the other one I will keep it in a column. So let's do something like that. So I'm going to say display flex, then flex direction column, and let's do align content center. So let's see what we have so far with these things. So if I go here now, if you notice, like I haven't written the responsive CSS. Of course you can write it. You can also include tailwind and have those apply directive and go beyond your creativity. That's not a problem. To just keep the video short, I will skip that part if that's okay with you guys, and we will just move forward with the main the main part of the video. So that's done. Now let's have the script here. So I'm going to say link, and I want CSS here, sorry. So that's the CSS, and this is coming from not style.css, but it's coming from CSS, and this is if I remember correctly, it's theme1.css. theme1.css. Now if I go back and refresh the page, you will see that we have something here going. So this is the card, we have 2 cards, and that's what we have. Now next thing we need to do is let's create another CSS file. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to replicate it. So let's just copy and just paste here inside this, and let's rename this as theme2. Okay, now we have theme2. Now let's change the primary title of theme2 to be, let's say I want it to be black, and let's have some fonts. Let's keep the font size same. So that's what I was thinking of, like saying, like if you have something same, you can have a base CSS and just extend it with the colors. But let's assume that everything is changing here. So let's do 25 pixels, and let's do this one, the secondary title, to be hashtag 8888, and let's do this as 20 pixels. let's go to the font size. Let's go to 16 pixel and let's give this like another black color. And let's reduce the height of the cards to 200. And let's do flex direction row. And let's do justify content center. Actually, in the previous one, the align content didn't work, so even if we remove, it's not a problem. Let's do align items, so we can see some difference. But overall, so yeah, that's fine. And also, let's do this. Like, let's just have for body. I'm gonna do background color of, let's say, some random color. So I'm just gonna do so as we are using black font, so we need to use some light color. So let's do hashtag CCC. So okay, we have the cards border. Yeah, so let's do this into 8888. Okay, now if we go back again, now if I just refresh this once, okay, so these are in the center. But if I go over here and change this to theme2.css, so now if we go back here and refresh this, so we have a different theme, which is great. Now let's try to use the database logic here, and let's try to have this implemented here. Now what we will do is let's go back over here, and let's first go to database migrations, and inside migrations you'll see a users table, which should be somewhere here, or it should be the first one here. So what I'm going to do is, of course, you can create a separate table, or you can create if you want, you can have it in the users table as well. So what we are going to do is, the idea what we are going to use is, we will be storing the theme name that user has selected for their dashboard. Now to make this unique and make this theme name to be difficult for user to guess, for instance, suppose if you have theme 1, theme 2, theme 3, theme 4, something like that, then obviously like if I'm using theme 1 as on your software, and I know that okay, the idea is there is going to be theme 2, theme 3, then I can just change some in the code here and there, and I can just guess it. So we don't want to like have that kind of thing. So what we are going to do is, we can have the UUID for each theme file name and just have it saved in the database with a record, so you can use that. But the simplest way is like just give the unique name for each theme, so that it's okay if it's guessed, but it's somewhat like how can I say, not that easy to guess. So what we are going to do is, assuming that theme 1 and theme 2 is no one is gonna guess, but just a tip like I would like to give, but it's okay. So what I'm gonna do is, here I'm gonna take table and string. Now this would be theme, so whatever theme they have selected. Now we can write a comment here that this is going to be CSS file name. Okay, now this is what we'll be storing in a database. So let's quickly create a user. So what I'm gonna do is, I have already, okay, so let's migrate this first. So let's stop this for a moment. No PHP artisan migrate. We have, okay, so I need to do some quick changes in env, I guess. Okay, so we need to put here, okay, I forgot to put my credentials here. So test db. Okay, I'll be typing the password, then I'll come back again here. So let's try it out now. So CLS and PHP artisan migrate. So migration done. That's great. Now let's go over here in MySQL workbench. So this was for React Native. So here is my test db. So if I refresh this and just see over here, you will see for the users table. So I can just remove this, and for users table here, if I do select rows, then I will see that there is a theme option over here, which is great. So now we can take this forward. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create a fake record just over here, assuming that user is registered. So I'll just give name as Aditya, @example.com, password. This is going to be a hash key, so we'll just keep it for now. And let's say I have selected theme 1, and if I apply this, So proceed forward. Yeah, I need to fill in the password. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just put a default value over here. So some hash key over here like this, and some random things that should be okay. And here I'm gonna do theme1. That's what I have selected. So let's go back over here, and now so let's do this now. So what I'm gonna do is if you see, like, we just need to switch the name of the file or whatever the CSS file that you will be using for the themes that you'll create. You just need to change the name over here based on the database record. Now the problem here is once your application starts to grow, you will be making frequent DB calls or database calls, and that might affect the performance here and there. Like, our main idea is, okay, making DB calls is great, but we have to keep it as optimum as possible. So what we are going to do is, on a first refresh, we can either cache the record of the theme and just keep it in the cache unless and until users changes it from their end. Or what we could do is we can keep it in a session so that it will be valid for 2 hours, which is the default time of session. And then once after 2 hours, it will be resetted again. So either cached or session, we could do either of that, not a problem. And where we have to do it is, so let's say this welcome over here. So this thing, it's coming from, if I go to web.php, so where is web.php? Oh, yeah, routes web.php, and it is coming from here. So what I'm going to do here is I'll just quickly grab this from here. Let me create a controller. So what I'm going to do is php artisan make controller and theme controller. Okay, and let's create this. So if we go now over here, so let's save this file, and if we go to app http controllers, so you will see theme controller. That's great. Now let's create here. Now as this is Laravel 8 point something, so we will be using this syntax, theme controller. This is going to be a class, and our function will be let's say assign theme. Okay, of course you can create a middleware for this so that you don't have to, like, this is done for each route, but let's assume that for now we just have one route. But of course you can keep it as a middleware, and then on each request you can check if it's cached or if it's in the session, pick the theme value from there. If it's not there, then call from the database. So let's import this. Now let's go to assign theme. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do public function assign theme. Just take the request object, which is fine, and then here we will have user equal to user let's do like this. Let's just get the theme. So I'm going to select theme where ID, so currently my ID is 1, and I want the value which is theme. And then let's import this class as well from models. And then what we need to do is we will say return view, and this is going to be our welcome blade, and I will be returning it with theme. Okay, now next thing we could do is go back to welcome, and here we can just substitute that. So here I'm going to do something like this. This will be $theme. Now if we go back here again, let's see if everything works well. So let's refresh the page. Oh, we haven't started the server, sorry for that. PHP artisan serve, and let's now refresh again. So we are on theme 1. That's great. Now let's say we change this to theme 2, apply, and let's go back over here, and we are on theme 2. That's perfect. So this is how you could use custom theme templates for your application. And now let's make it more efficient by either caching it or by storing it session. So I'm going to store it in session. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look. Okay, so what we could do here is we could say if session theme, then if we do, let's do if not session theme. So what we will do is we'll just put it over here, and then we can do something like this: session theme. This will come from $theme. And then here what we could do is, instead of having this over here, so we can just remove, like we can just keep it as it is like this, and then we can just substitute it over here. So here I can say session theme. Now the problem here is after 2 hours when the session gets resetted, this value will be blank and will throw an error. So to do that, we just need to make sure that whenever someone refreshes the page and comes here, we just are checking if the session still exists. If it doesn't, we create a session and then we just store the value of theme in the session. It can be cached for a day or so or till the user removes it. So we have two options over here. So if I go back here now, refresh the page, now this is in the session. So if I just refresh the page, it's in the session. Now if I just change the value from here, I haven't resetted the session yet. So if I get back to theme 1 and refresh the page, it won't show me theme 1 because it's taking from the session. So if someone changes from the software, so we just need to reset the session. So that's all from me for this video. Hope you like this video, and if you enjoy this video, please hit the thumbs up button for the like. If you feel this video is worth sharing with your network, please do share this with your network. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. So that's all for today. Till the next time, goodbye.